Hello, we are live with Kenneth. He is one of my clients from Kansas. Kenneth, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us your story.
Well, my name's Kenneth Alt. I am a transplant. I'm not originally from Kansas, but my stepdaughter was taken in January of 2022, January 17th, I believe, if I remember correctly. Her mom and I were legally married, and we had several anonymous phone calls made on us, and St. Francis Ministries walked in, and they have wrecked lives. My life, her life, the little girl's life. She's going to be 4 years old in June. I haven't seen her since she was 22 months old. She has been in therapy because she has issues with her temperament. She doesn't like to be around children her own age, and she backtalks her grandparents, who are her kinship placement.
Can you explain to people what that ministry is, please?
I don't even know. I know the only thing I know about them is they are supposed to be a third-party private sector contract with DCFS in the state of Kansas. State of Kansas was one of the first states to privatize child welfare. And since then, St. Francis has ran unchecked, and they're in several states, not just Kansas. They're in Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Nebraska, and Kansas and Texas.
Go ahead.
That's all I know about them. And I've been trying to figure out their modus operandi. You know, I've done everything they've requested. When the case first started, they failed to, the state failed to give me legal counsel. I had to request it. I motioned for party of interest in April of 2022 after my now ex-wife fabricated allegations of abuse. And my first motion for party of interest was denied. And I had to relocate to get away from them so I could, get a job, get a place, get my vehicle back from my ex-wife. She took my vehicle without permission. Once I accomplished all that, I spoke to a caseworker. I forgot her name, but she was very helpful to the extent that she could be. And she said, okay, well, if you've done everything on your parenting plan, case plan, submit all those documents, come to court, attempt to get an attorney. I was unable at the time. I was still trying to, get my finances in order, which I eventually did. And I did it in a record time. I went from being homeless and jobless for 5 months to having a job, having an apartment, having a car, getting a second job, all within about 3 months.
So, I'm getting so angry. So why would they not let you have the child? I'm not understanding.
All the guardian ad litem is standing on is that I am not the biological father.
It doesn't matter. You are fictive kin. That means a daycare worker, a principal, a neighbor, a stepfather could take the child. That's fictive kin. Anybody who has an intimate relationship with the child. But go ahead, because I'm getting a little upset over here. But go ahead.
It's not at you.
I'm not sure where else to go with it. I've done everything they've asked. Shortly after I spoke with the caseworker that I mentioned previously, I found out through my now ex-father-in-law. I'm on good terms with him, but I found out through him that the judge that is presiding or proceeding over the case issued a no contact order October 17th of 2022. And this was before I had legal counsel.
They ordered a no contact on you?
Yes, on me. The judge did.
Why? What was the grounds? They had to say what the grounds were.
They've not told me what the grounds were. When I inquired, they won't tell me. The attorney that they did appoint to me, I ended up releasing him on the grounds of incompetent counsel because he was doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they issued me another one. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't see that it would do any good. But now he is doing the bare minimum. And he came to me and said, hey, we need to watch what we say. We're on thin ice. We don't have a leg to really stand on because you're not the biological father.
So, do these attorneys not understand fictive kin? I mean, do we really need to educate the judicial system on fictive kin? I mean, because this is really starting to irritate me.
Yeah, I don't believe they understand anything because I know that I looked it up in the state of Kansas. We have a statute. It is Kansas Statute Anointed. I guess that's what KSA means in Kansas. It is 38-141, and it describes what a parent is. And it states a parent is a natural, adopted, step, foster, guardian, or conservative in the state of Kansas.
But even in Virginia, okay, it says anybody, step grandparents, step parents, step siblings, aunts, we can all file for custody. We can all intervene. This is.
It's okay, Tiffany. Breathe.
I know, but this is so wrong. This man should have had this child.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out how to establish. I was told that by somebody else. He said it was a former paralegal in Wisconsin. He said every state's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said in the chat, they're all running off of different standards, different operating guidelines. But he said anybody could file for guardianship. Anybody. He said anybody, especially if they have an intimate relationship. And I'm just like, well, how the heck do I do that?
Okay, so Spanny.
Yeah.
So, is there any way we can help him without him getting a lawyer? I mean, I can prep him for court because I got the backbone. I'll just have to tone it down so he don't go to jail because, you know, my smart mouth, you know.
Hold on, let me consult my paralegal over here. What can we file for him?
I mean, I have an attorney, but he's quite useless in my opinion.
Fire him!
I just got here and I only got the end of this and my head already is spinning because I can't understand for the life of me why these people do this shit and think it's okay. Because like my thing is, if you are going to take care of a kid, and clearly KSA, Kansas statutes are very similar across the board for all 50 states, wouldn't it be smart to file a motion to intervene? Because I'm just asking for a friend over here.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this stuff because I don't know.
I do have the motion to intervene, but also I think the way we might be able to do this is sue for custody.
Well, not only that, we have to vacate that order for no contact. They put a no contact order on the man for no reason.
Okay. Well, the vacate lady is over there in the corner down below.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm pointing to.
Yeah, I don't know how to share it, but I actually have the transcript, and they had to, you know, what's it called? Redact stuff because they emailed it to me. But it states at the very bottom that I am to have no contact with the minor, and it wasn't even like, okay, in this state, a no contact order is supposed to be something that's served to you. Like you go to court, you ask for it, the sheriffs come out and they go, "Hey, you got to come to court." You know.
Isn't this the one that the caseworker did, but it wasn't approved by the judge or the at all?
No, the judge is the one that did it. And I was told that the St. Francis Ministries is the one that asked for it, but it doesn't say that. It says in their notes that I am to have no contact with the minor.
On what grounds?
There's no grounds.
See?
It just says I'm to have no contact.
I'm so tired of getting kicked off.
And the
I
judge,
didn't do that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. You just jumped.
and I'm going to blast the judge. His name is James Schroeder of Rawlins County, Kansas.
So if there is no legal reason, then he is actually going off the wall, I guess.
He's going
there's
off of nothing.
Yeah.
How close are you to Johnson County?
Johnson County is, I think, over by Topeka.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about 3 hours from Johnson County, where I live.
Somebody who's popping into my head is that dad advocate that's suing Johnson County for all the crap.
Yeah, I've been talking to him too.
What did he say?
He's researching it because he's also dealing with his. He's trying to figure out what could reflect. But it seems like they've got everybody spread out. I've got 2 parent allies in Wichita. And in February, when I went to court, I went February 15th, the day after, Valentine's Day. They drove 4 hours. They're 3 hours from me, and then we had to drive to Thomas County to where the proceedings are. And they went in there, and the guardian ad litem requested that they be removed on the grounds that I'm not a parent and I don't qualify for parent allies.
How long were you taking care of the child?
I entered her life when she was 3 months old. And they took her at 18 months old. And when I went to court in June of 23 to get my attorney appointed to me the first time, she actually recognized me as dad. Like, she was being held by her grandpa, and everybody was out in the lobby, and she said, "Daddy, can you hold me?" In front of all the attorneys. All of them saw it.
Okay, so let me ask you something.
She had her head in her hands before we even started.
Yeah, I did. So is this case, where is mom and the child? Are they still in that state?
Yes. My ex-wife and I had actually relocated separately to the same town because we needed jobs, and we couldn't find a place to live collectively. But she was also informed by the first caseworker that it would be easier for her to get the child back if she left me.
Okay, see, this is where I got a problem again. You were legally married to this woman.
Yes.
That falls under the Religious Act, okay? I did a whole thing on this. Not only that, that is coercion, that is threats, that is duress. How can did your vow say what God brought together, whatever God brought together, no man shall break apart?
Yep, we use the traditional vows. Yeah.
Right. These people don't have the authority. And every time they tell somebody, I wish I thought a motherfucker would tell me to leave my husband to get some fucking kids back. I would stomp that bitch's ass. I am mad. I am furious.
I'm just wondering over here in the corner. Anybody know that Kansas Department of Health and Human Services has been under like, I don't know, a shit ton of fire since people have been reporting them?
Oh yeah, St.
Because
Francis Ministries was actually closed in Sedgwick County just recently.
well, my
because of the
backstory.
report.
See, my backstory is my adoption was out of Kansas, out of Johnson County, Shawnee Mission. Come to find out, Wisconsin never had permission for me to be in Wisconsin. So for 10 plus months, here I am in the foster care system, and I ain't even supposed to be in Wisconsin. And there's letters between the Attorney General of Kansas and the Attorney General of Wisconsin. So I went back to try to fix all of that. Come to find out, I'm in the same boat because mine was done through the Catholic Charities that took over prior to St. Francis.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because my now ex-wife was actually adopted from Catholic Charities out of Manhattan, out of Riley County.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she was a target. She was a target already.
Yeah. And then in California, when I was a preteen, I was in foster care twice because of my mom having drug-related criminal charges.
So, like Tiffany said, we're all targets. The minute we're born, they might as well put a damn cow tag on our ears and say, watch these people the rest of their damn lives, because I swear to God, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do or when you do it. At some point or another, they come into your life and they wreck it up. And what they're doing is they're covering shit that they don't want anybody to speak up. So like in your situation with St. Francis, I know personally from people out in Kansas that I work with side by side, there's a ton of y'all. There's a ton. And the thing is, they want you guys to be segregated, to not speak up. And the thing is, you have to find the courage to speak in the darkness, because the more stories that come to light like yours, the more people are willing to take a deeper look at what's going on. Because here's the crazy thing. The attorneys in my adoption case, okay, now work for the University of Kansas as lawyers. They are law professors for the University of Kansas. So my thing is, what do you do? How do you vacate things, especially like in your ex-wife's position? You can't vacate it if you don't know who your bio family is and you don't know what's going on. But there's a few of us that have met our family because people did spiteful stuff. So I'm grateful I met my family because they do live over in that area, but nobody wants to be in your shoes. So I completely sympathize with you going through all the stuff you're going through, because it's hard.
Yeah, well, my ex-wife knew who her biological mother was. It was an open adoption. The people who adopted her are actually friends with her biological mother. And her biological mother gave her up because at the time she was 21. She already had one kid. She couldn't handle two at 21 years old, you know?
So where's your case at? Have you gotten out of the family circus courts? Are we in appeals? Like, where are we at?
Every hearing that has occurred has been a permanency hearing. It is being...
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, a permanency hearing. Like, they haven't moved for termination or permanent placement. It's permanency. She is in kinship with my ex-wife's parents.
That's BS. It should be status hearings, not... No.
And it's in Thomas County, even though we moved out of Thomas County. The little girl's not even living in Thomas County. Her kinship live in Meade County over by...
That's a jurisdiction issue.
Liberal.
Can we do a quo warranto for this, Amber?
You know what? To be honest with you, I don't even know, because at this point, I know that there's a couple of people in Kansas I can reach out to and see what they're doing. But I mean, Kansas is getting pretty pushed under a thumb right now for all the stuff that they're going through. I mean, a lot of stuff is coming out of that state. And I think one of his best people to work with is the dad that's suing Johnson County.
So there is a advocate that is also suing. I don't know, remember what their name is, due to the fact that there was a children that died within the Catholic Charities little program because they didn't do their job.
I think I know who it is, but I ain't going to say it on live.
Well, we'll say it after the show. Do you get notices of these hearings, or is somebody telling you?
Once I got an attorney, I started receiving notices from him. But prior to that, I was just being told by my father-in-law when they were going to take place.
Well, don't
So
fire your
isn't that a
attorney yet.
violation in itself that he never was properly served?
Well, here's the problem, Amber. They're saying that he is not the biological father. Therefore, he is excluded from these hearings, which doesn't make sense because even if he was just the boyfriend, he would still be considered fictive kin.
So there's a thing that's going on where CPS puts the child with kinship care, so they don't have to they're not responsible for the child anymore, but they still get all the rewards from it.
Yeah, it's called alternative living arrangements.
It's also called shadow fostering, I guess.
Those are all the names
But
for
there
it.
is another one where CPS doesn't do their reports, don't do their case plan updates, don't do anything. That way they can go for termination of rights right away, which is another thing that's probably going on. So you got both of these that look like it's going on together, which means that they're going to terminate mother's rights no matter what and place it with this whatever kin that child's with.
And after she left and was staying in the domestic violence shelter, give me a moment. After she left, they never spoke to me. The caseworkers never spoke to me. They've actually went on record and stated that they've never interacted with myself nor the other alleged father, the one that signed the birth certificate. They've never communicated with him. They've sent him letters. They sent him a court-ordered DNA mandate. He didn't do that. They actually told me I had to do one or they were going to put me in jail.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that if we can get... You're going to have to go to Supreme Court with this. There's no way you're going to fight this anymore where you're at. Because of Rule 60, therefore you have legal rights to do that. Rule 60 is where the judge is at fault. Okay? The judge is at fault in this from, well, trusting CPS in the first place. And putting a no protective order on, or, putting a protective order on that shouldn't be there. Yeah. So you can get that. I think Amber can help you with that. But I'm still thinking that Quo Warranto might be a good place to start too.
Yeah, I think it's actually in my email. I have the results from the paternity test.
We don't need those because we already know your stepdad.
Well, yeah, but that was something like they didn't give it to me on paper. They emailed it to me.
Well, let me ask you something. Did the courts order a paternity test or did CPS tell you they wanted one?
St. Francis said they wanted one.
Okay. I really want people to stop cooperating with CPS. I really do.
See,
because
I didn't know any of this stuff, when it first started. Had
it's
I known,
not just you.
I would have told them to fly a kite.
It's not just you. It's everybody. You don't consent to a safety plan. You don't consent to a drug test. You don't consent to them talking to your children. You don't consent to anything unless they get a court order. Okay? The Fourth Amendment protects you. It protects everything, your house, your papers, your bodily fluids, your everything. Everything. That is a violation of your Fourth Amendment right.
Yeah, I've learned all that in the recent months of
Um,
doing my research.
so it's not always the man that they want to eliminate first. I have many cases where they eliminate the mom because of just simple facts, I guess. Um, they play favorites is what they do. Well, who can I get, and who's going to fight the less?
Right. That's who's going to bow down.
Yep.
That's what
And
it boils down to.
if you're going to bow down and not do crap, then I'm going to have the kids placed with, or try to be placed with you and single you out from everybody else because I can tell you what to do.
Right.
Yeah, and in this instance, I believe my ex-wife is the one that, succumbed, caved.
Rollovers and does it.
From the very beginning, I was calling them out on their stuff.
And that's why they decided that they were going to try and get you out of the way.
Yeah, they deemed me difficult because they wanted us to do mental health evaluations. And
they deemed my son, my 13-year-old son at the time, the difficult one.
And when we met with the original caseworker, she goes, "By the way, you guys didn't do your evaluations." I said, "Yeah, that's a lie because we had them send them to you, to your email like you told us." And she goes, "Well, I haven't checked my email yet. So when I check it, I'll let you know." And I was like, "Okay, you want me to call them in front of you?" She goes, "No, that's not necessary. Don't do that."
I would do it. But another thing that everybody I've been catching not doing this again, record everything. Do not talk to them on the phone. You have them text you or email you. Record everything. There is a phone app you can get that records your calls.
Yeah, again,
it's QACR.
Yeah.
But
You need the paper trail or the voice trail. Therefore, record everything. I don't care if you're walking in there with a recorder tapped to your boobs. Do it.
It is called CubeACR for Android, and I believe it's like Talk Something for Apple. But record it all.
Nothing.
And I'm sorry, right there.
Walking.
Right there.
Oh, this is a mess.
Yeah, it's very convoluted in my case, but at the same time, I look at it like this: the guy that signed the birth certificate hasn't been there since she was like 2.5 months old. He's never interacted with her, never, supported her, nothing. And when she got taken, they assigned him an attorney.
What? And what did he say? Has he been to court?
He's never been to one of the hearings. He's always just been represented by his attorney.
See, that's why we have the I know I'm going to say it wrong. Loco paratis, like it's some with parents or some shit where somebody else steps in to take responsibility.
Are you talking in locos paternis?
Yes, there you go.
Are you talking in locos paternis where you can have like a friend or somebody step in on behalf of your children, for medical care and education?
Yeah, but he's still fictive Ken. It does not eliminate that.
I've went to every hearing since they've appointed me an attorney.
Oh, they hate you. I'm telling you right now because you won't back down.
I'm proud of you for that, by the way. I'm proud of you.
I told the caseworker that when it first started. She was like, oh, you and I aren't going to get along. I go, you're damn right we're not going to get along. I'm going to chase your ass all the way to hell.
I love it. I love it.
I cuss them out every single time they come, and I'm like, you know what? It's not you personally. It's the situation that I don't like. But they use that
fact
against
me.
Use whatever you want. I know. I was in the system. I know their games. I know their tricks. But there's a lot of stuff I don't know either that I'm learning.
Oh my. I'm telling you right now, if I drank, I'd be drunk right now because I can't take it.
I can't even tell you how many caseworkers we've had. We've had that many. I've lost track.
Well, here's the thing about that. I think they do that purposely. I really do think that they do that on purpose, right? Because the more people they have on the case, right, they go from this one to this one to this one to this one. So they use everybody else's notes to catch, quote unquote, catch them up. And then you got a brand new social worker coming in court who only read notes and is testifying to what she does not know.
Yep, that's how
Hey,
it's
this
been.
sounds like a certain case I'm on over here in Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
The last time I went to court, which was February 15th, I don't recall which attorney asked the question, but it was they called her a placement specialist. That was this lady's title.
Oh, so she's a terminating the rights specialist.
And she supervises my ex-wife's visits. She gets supervised visits. They alternate. One week the kid comes down to see her. The other week she has to go see the kid.
They're working on reunifying her with mom.
Yeah, they're doing a real banger of a job. But
yeah, it's a messed up situation.
the worker was asked, from her observation, does she see that it's more of a mother-daughter bond or a big sister, little sister bond? And she said it's more of a big sister, little sister bond. She has troubles getting her to listen. And she always ends her visits with watching a movie. They start playing and then the visits end with her watching a movie. And when it's time for her to pack up and go back to kinship, she has a hard time getting her to listen. And then the attorney, I forgot which one it was, proceeded to ask, have you ever spoken with either of the alleged fathers? She said, no, I've never spoken with either of them.
I like how that was worded, by the way.
Yeah, and that was on record. And that is a fact. They have never talked to me. When I got my new apartment, they did not come and do a walkthrough to see if I had adequate space for her, which I did. They've never interacted with him. They send letters and they get no response from him.
Well, that's what they're counting on you to not have any more responses.
No, I'm going to chase them to hell.
Yeah, I'll be right behind you.
Yeah, I'm not giving up.
Well, let me first and foremost, let me tell you are not the problem. Okay. CPS is the problem. You have to be sociopathic and narcissistic to be a social worker. You have got to be one of the two, because somebody with a heart could not stand to see a child being ripped away from its parents. I don't care what kind of person you are. If you're narcissistic and you're sociopathic, you are a perfect social worker. But when you run up on me, you got the right one. Because my mother was narcissistic, so I know exactly how they are. And I, too, can become sociopathic when it comes to somebody's kids. Because you don't have the right. The state does not have the right to interfere with your marriage, your home, or your life. That's just the truth.
Well, they stomped all over that Constitution.
Oh, they always do, because they believe they're above the law. There is no accountability, and that is one of the problems. If we could get, like my brother-in-law, he's a state senator in Delaware. He is now taking a deep dive into CPS because they told him that they weren't going to use this quote-unquote gap money. So now he's going to pull them in, and he wants to know why. So between me and my sister, we are now getting him involved to take a deeper dive into his system in his state. Because every state, every town, every whatever everybody is, CPS is the same. I don't care where you go. Spanny's got stories from Alaska that sound the same from Virginia and Texas and all 50 states. They're all the same. They can't all be the same if the people aren't the same kind of people.
Well, on top of that, it's funny if you think about it, because they use the same tactics in all 50 states, especially in military families. And I'll just throw this one out there. The amount of military dependents that their significant others come home with PTSD, and then they're getting hit for domestic violence, and the next thing you know, CPS is knocking on their door. It's the military's responsibility to step in to make sure these guys have the resources. And these families have the resources. Like, how about people humanitarian transfer them? How about you get them the help that they so badly need because they have fleet and family? So FAP is the presiding CPS top dog over here for the military that's supposed to be speaking to the civilians. Why are they just freaking giving it to the civilians? Like, they are a separate protected class on top of that. So now you got kids that are going through this in multiple counties and multiple state jurisdictions. I can't even tell you, counting on one hand alone, how many people have come to me that's a military dependent and said, I got 3 freaking counties involved, 2 freaking states involved, and ain't nobody even know how to register a freaking anything. And you're supposed to have a military protective order honored, but they don't even know how to do that. So then you got judges in one state going, yeah, you're right. You know, we'll make them get help, or yeah, you'll do this. But at the end of the day, all they care about is taking the freaking kids. And at the end of the day, they leave people in shattered homes across this country, people who put their lives on the line every freaking day. And then they come home because they struggle. And instead of them going to get the help that they so badly need and they want to get, they're afraid to, because they hear these horror stories all across this damn country. Then you take situations like yours. You stepped into that child's life. You chose to love that child, and you shouldn't be excluded. Like, you have a voice. You're a voice for that kid. And the fact that this system has weaponized it against every freaking person, regardless of race, status, equality, whatever. I used to be that parent. They used to think, no, it won't happen to me. I swear to God, it won't happen to me. I'll just cooperate. I'll do whatever I need to do. Oh, hell no. I had to learn that shit the hard way.
Yeah, that's how it's been with me. I tried to cooperate with them, and they just kicked me into the dirt and said nope.
So let me give you a scenario. And actually, my son used this because he's like, no, Mom, you're not going up to CPS with us. We're going to go. We'll handle this. So my son gets in there with my daughter, and the CPS people are questioning my daughter. And my son says, wait a minute. Anything she says, you're going to use against her. And the supervisor was like, what? My son said, you're no different than a prosecuting attorney. Anything my sister says to you, you're going to use against her, correct? My son backed her right up in the corner. This is what she does. Yes. My son said, don't say another word. We won in court and we won administratively. Because where they screwed up was I'm her mother and we don't back down. She wanted to, oh, Mom, I just want to sign the safety plan. I said, absolutely not. You better not. You better not.
Yeah, and I find it funny that at the last hearing, my now ex-wife told her counsel to let it be, put on the record that if she were to get the child back, she would be perfectly okay with my having time with her or interacting with her, being in her life, under one condition, and that was go to anger management. Simply because I found out that she was messing with a registered sex offender, and that was another reason my daughter got taken.
They would have to put me in anger management because I think I would kill her. Okay, it takes a special kind of person to lay down with a sex offender. I'm sorry. There's something not right.
Yeah, and I didn't know it until I looked him up. Then I looked him up and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so wait a minute. They won't give you the child, but they'll give the child to mom who is messing with a sexual predator.
No, she's not anymore, but
It doesn't matter. She was.
Yeah.
Okay, then they should have hit her ass with failure to protect and given you guardianship.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Of course they didn't. Because you know why? I'm going to be honest. Any child, and Spaney can back me up, any child under the age of 5 is adoptable under 3 months because the bond can be broken like that. 5 and older, it's harder to adopt them out.
She's going to be 4 in June.
She's under 5.
Yeah.
So I can't say where I heard it from or even which state, but I heard from the mouth of a CPS worker that when asked by a lawyer if it is traumatic for a child to be have the parents' rights terminated and them never see that child again, and his answer was, well, yes, it's very traumatic and traumatizing, but they'll get over it.
And you didn't punch him in his mouth, Spanny?
I couldn't. I had to be a good girl at that time. Plus, I can't reach through Zoom, so it's kind of hard to.
I would have taken that one for the team. I would have just taken that one.
Yeah, I think, boys. I think they would have had an issue with me punching the camera.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. They'll get over it. See, this is what they don't understand. Not only are you traumatizing children, okay, you traumatize the whole family. And the children do not just get over it. They have PTSD. They have separation issues. They have disassociated, or I'm not even saying it right, but they can't make connections. They break this child down. It's terrible. I hate CPS. I hate CPS.
Well, see, I think this might be unique, and I know they're working very hard to, wreck a bond. But when I first got the attorney appointed to me, the placement specialist, there's been 2 different placement specialists that I know of. And the one that was at the hearing when I got my attorney, the first attorney appointed, she was actually holding my daughter. And she was asking her, she asked her a series of questions. Who's mommy? And my daughter pointed at my ex-wife. That's mommy. Who's daddy? She pointed at me. That's daddy. Who's Nana? That's my Nana. Who's Papa? That's my Papa. But do they want to give me my visitation? Do they want to give me the child? No.
So CPS currently still has the child, right?
She's in kinship placement, yes.
Sue CPS for custody like you would, like, say, an ex-wife? I'm serious.
If I knew how, I would. I'm not.
Well, that's why I have this really, really awesome lady down in the left corner over here. Her name's Amber. You should get with her after the live.
I can email her if she'd like.
I got her email for you. She actually put it in the private chat.
Yeah, I got it right there, and I highlighted it so I could, copy and paste it over to my Gmail.
There's no doubt Tiffany would really swing on him.
Yeah, I really would. I mean, me and my youngest daughter were screaming at each other in the courthouse, and my husband had to come and get me because I was going to knock her the fuck out with her smart mouth right in the courthouse. I don't care about you all. No, I'm going to jail today.
I've had my moments where I just wanted to strangle them. I really have. the first time they went to a hearing and they said that I said this and I said that, I was like, wait the fuck? Huh? I did not say that. Yes, I did.
Certain clients have to tell me, be good, Spanny. Be good, Spanny.
I did. But the way they worded it, I was like, I did not say that. I said those words, but I didn't say it in that manner.
I like how they twist the shit completely 180. And they like make the narrative about the person they're targeting when they're really speaking about the other person. And then you go through it all and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, the lady that we had to meet with, I forgot her title, but we had to meet. She was family resource specialist. That's what her title was. So she could help you find jobs or find a better apartment or, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And Tiffany's down half a pack about now.
Like I was cussing at her. I was, but it wasn't directed at her. It was directed at the situation. And she worded it in a manner that when she recited it under oath, that it was directed at her and that she was afraid to be around me, and going to these meetings scared her.
Well, you know what you should have told her? Since you're so scared, bitch, any other time you bring the police, make the police sit in there, because guess what? They got body cams on.
I want somebody to riddle me this one, Batman. Okay. This has been grinding my gears. Larry had called me today. Okay. And this baffles me. So if you can get a protective order, right? Law enforcement does the protection order, right? Domestic violence is a crime. So if domestic violence is a crime, then why is it in civil court? One. And two, why are these judges allowed to put quote unquote no contact orders into place?
Actually, I can answer that. Now, I'm friends with my district attorney here.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him about a client I was working with on a whole different subject. I said, hey, somebody appealed a protective order. And he said, Tiffany, it is very rare that they use protective orders in criminal cases. All protective orders are civil. So they're civil. And did you hear that, Amber?
Oh, I'm listening. I'm still trying to process the fact if you get a domestic violence protective order, how you take that to another state and they don't honor it. And then they put a protection order by the judge in place without following the rules and procedures.
Well, we all know the judges don't follow shit either. Come on now. Because you're in family court. Domestic violence is done in family court.
Riddle me this. How is my case in juvenile court?
It's going to stay in juvenile court until you get it to the Supreme Court.
They didn't even put it in family court.
Well, juvenile court is family court. It's juvenile domestic relations. So anything having to do with the child, it will stay there until you start going up the tiers.
And hey, guys, we do this all for free. So we do need donations because we are all really hurting because some of us don't even have jobs. This is just what we do all day. So my Venmo to support us all is up on the chat or up on that little box thingy on the live. So anything you can do to help us would be awesome.
And when I look at this first case plan in my hand, they state that their safety concerns was homelessness and relationship with husband.
Mother effers. I'm going to freaking lose it because that is the only purpose. Go ahead.
You cannot take a child because parents are homeless. You can't take a child because parents are poor. Poverty is not a abuse and neglect case, but that's what they use all the time. You could have been living in a car. It was shelter. Go ahead, Amber, because I need to smoke my cigarette.
CPS is supposed to be providing resources to stop freaking homelessness and provide resources for people, not freaking take kids away because they don't have the resources. Like, they're getting money to help people.
And
I actually stayed in a hotel with my kids because we didn't have a place for a little while.
And one of their things here that they wrote out was contributing factors. Husband kicked, I'm not going to say my ex-wife's name, kicked out of house. That was when I found out she was sexting a registered sex offender. She was sending nudes of herself to him.
I'm going to try and be calm.
I'm gonna be quiet.
And I told a sheriff that. I called a sheriff and I told him, I said, look at her phone. She has text messages from him on her phone. He wasn't even supposed to have a smartphone because of his charges.
Did they arrest him?
No, he did. They didn't do anything to him. His charges, his original charges, which got him on our registry, was raping a 15-year-old coworker.
Okay, I'm gonna puke now.
How are you still not in jail? I mean, I would have.
How is he still walking?
I would have. Yeah, I would have. You know, my little pocket toy would have. My hole puncher. Yeah.
I sit there, and the only thing that's kept me out of jail is the fact that I'm the only stable one that can help this little girl because her grandparents love her. There's no doubt. But they have stated, and they've been admirable about it. They said, we do not want to raise her. We want to go back to being grandparents.
Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience, and Spanny knows, and Amber's actually been to my house. I am a grandparent who's raising 2, 5 and under. And I understand that statement. I don't know how old they are, but when we have to put our lives on hold, it's not because we don't want them, but it's hard when all your kids are gone, right? Grown up, supposed to be taking care of their own kids. And then this happens. Of course, I will always take my grandkids, no matter what my life goes. I understand that. I understand that to the fullest. Trust me, I understand. But at the same time, they have to understand.
Yeah.
You have to make them understand that if that child goes into care, wait a minute, if that child goes into care, they're going to make thousands off that child.
Not just that, the mortality rate for that child goes up like 90%.
Yeah. 600 times more likely to be killed in foster care versus being in a abusive home.
And I won't get into the other details because she's a little girl, and yeah, I don't want to go there.
And then
Yeah.
On her permanency plan, they have father's name, and it says paternity to be established. And then they have other caregiver name, my name.
That's still right there. I just said a school principal, a teacher, a daycare worker, somebody who has a connection with this child is considered fictive kin.
Yeah, and honestly, if I had a scanner, I would send this to you, Tiffany, because right here in the summary of assessment tools that they did initially, at the very bottom, it states, there's a bunch, but it states, I'm not going to name my ex-wife's name, but her and Kenneth have been able to acknowledge that they need to work on their relationship to be able to provide a safe and stable home for their daughter, Daisy.
Okay, the optimum word is there.
Yes. And their daughter, they recognized me as her father. They didn't say my ex-wife's daughter.
Right. That's why it makes absolutely no sense to me why they would not give you that child and help you. And Amber's right. That's what their job is. See, let me tell you what the problem is. These people get money from the government and they don't want to get rid of it. They're pocketing that money. Trust me when I tell you. That money is not going where it's supposed to be going.
No, I know that. I have learned that since I've been doing this. I've been, deep diving and trying to get in contact with advocates and figure out, hey, is anyone else going through something similar? And it's been a mess. It really has. But again, this is the only thing I have. It's the original case plan. That's it.
Do you have Adobe Scan?
Oh, go ahead, Amber. I'm sorry.
Do you have Adobe Scan on your phone?
I don't think so. I could probably download it. I have an Android.
Yeah, if you download Adobe Scan, you can actually take up to 25 pages, like photo documents, and scan it out, like if you were to use a copier, just FYI.
Hey, that's useful for me because when I need to send something, they're like, can you scan it? I'm like, no, I'd have to go to the library, and that's a bit of a pain in the butt some days.
Yeah, Amber's got it on her phone. I saw her do it.
All right.
Download it.
Have you talked to any of your state senators or your delegates?
I have talked to 2 representatives. One of them didn't even call me back, and the other one said he was driving to the office and he would call me back, and he never did.
Okay, so you call them back again, and you say, "Hey, this is Tiffany Wise, and I helped put your ass in that seat, and you need to call me back, and you need to do your job, and you need to represent me. I'm the people." That's what you need to say. You got to start being aggressive with these people, man.
There is a senator in Kansas that will be more receptive than the others. I just don't remember their name. I'll work on that. Anything else, guys? We're at an hour, so.
Yeah, no. I would find out who all my delegates were for my area, right? Because you have area delegates and then state delegates. Find out who your state senator is in your jurisdiction. Find out who your delegates are in your little division, because there's 2. Start writing letters too, because the more paper trails you have, the better it is. Remind these people they work for you. We put them in those seats.
Yeah, I've been looking for them. I've been trying to find out who they are. I know one senator here is Timothy Mann, I believe his name is.
I believe Kansas has 7 total senators when I was looking.
He needs the one in his district.
Right. I can get that for him.
Yeah, find out who his delegates are and find out who his state senator is. And then you start calling them and you start emailing them and you start sending them letters and tell them you're not going away because you voted for them, whether you did or not. You voted for them and you helped put their ass in that seat. Therefore, he is representing you. Okay, I'm done. I need to go eat some CBD.
All right. So make sure you guys join us on Sunday. We will have some actual good news by then, as well as please go see our other friends. They are 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's Abolish CPS, and they're actually really good guys.
Can you send me that link so I can watch?
Yep, it's in my messenger and probably in our other chat program about now.
I don't know. I'm about to eat a whole bunch of CBD. I might not even be awake because I'm so rattled right now.